I want to talk to you about virtual legal assistant versus paralegals. And we want to do a quick compare and contrast between virtual legal assistants and paralegals. So here's an overview. When you think about virtual legal assistant versus paralegal, it's important to really understand first the main definition of each concept. So I want to really walk you through Legality 101, explaining to you what a virtual legal assistant and what is a virtual paralegal assistant. So a virtual legal assistant, distinct from a paralegal, is a professional who aids lawyers in various administrative tasks and legal support functions. Very important. Administrative tasks and legal support functions. And a virtual legal assistant manages paperwork, assists in legal research, maintains case records, and handles client communications, contributing to the smooth operation of legal practices. Now, of course, the definition of legal assistant, virtual legal assistant, can be a little different in your practice, but I'm just giving you the main, the widely accepted definition. So that's for a virtual legal assistant. What about a virtual paralegal assistant? Now, a virtual paralegal assistant is a trained professional who assists lawyers in the legal field by providing substantive legal support. Their responsibilities encompass conducting legal research, drafting legal documents, organizing case files, and offering assistance during trials. And paralegals are integral, if you will, to legal processes, ensuring that attorneys can focus on more complex legal tasks while they handle essential support functions. So that's actually an important element to think about. So what are the unique tasks for virtual legal assistants versus unique tasks for virtual paralegal assistants? So when you think about a virtual legal assistant, you have unique responsibilities such as virtual file management, remote communication, cybersecurity oversight, legal software proficiency, e-discovery support, virtual notary services, remote legal research, digital document authentication, online filing assistance, and virtual witness coordination. So those are actually the unique tasks for virtual legal assistants. We're going to put this on the screen. And what about the unique tasks for virtual paralegal assistants? You have advanced legal research, case strategy development, trial preparation, specialized legal drafting, forensic data analysis, expert witness coordination, regulatory compliance, intellectual property support, complex litigation support, and legal database management. Let's talk about the pros and cons here. When we talk about virtual legal assistant versus a paralegal, what are the pros and cons here? First of all, what are the advantages of hiring a virtual legal assistant? And then I'll talk to you about the disadvantages, and then we'll do the same thing for a paralegal, okay? So what are the advantages of hiring a virtual legal assistant? Well, you have cost-effective support, flexibility, administrative expertise, client communication, and versatility. Let me break it down for you. When we talk about cost-effective support, virtual legal assistants are often more cost-effective than paralegals. They excel in handling administrative tasks, reducing overhead costs. Flexibility, legal assistants can adapt to varying workloads and provide on-demand support, making them, in our view, suitable for businesses with fluctuating needs. When you talk about administrative expertise, they bring strong administrative and organizational skills to the table, ensuring smooth day-to-day operations. For client communication, virtual legal assistants are skilled in client interactions, enhancing customer relations and trust. In terms of versatility, they can handle a wide range of tasks from document preparation to appointment scheduling, making them, in our view, again, adaptable to diverse industries. So that's really fantastic. What about the cons? When you think about hiring a virtual legal assistant, what are the potential disadvantages? Well, you have limited legal expertise. You have legal restrictions depending upon the jurisdiction where you are at. So when we talk about limited legal expertise, virtual legal assistants may lack specialized legal knowledge, making them less suitable for tasks requiring in-depth legal insights. What about legal restrictions? Well, depending on the jurisdiction, There may be limits to the types of tasks a legal assistant can perform, which may vary from place to place. So this is an important element to think about. But overall, you have the possibility to know exactly what you're getting yourself into if you hire a virtual legal assistant. Let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of hiring a virtual paralegal assistant. I mean, you probably saw a little earlier that a paralegal actually has a more legal acumen than a virtual assistant. But I want to dig a little deeper so you have a clear idea what I really mean. So let's first talk about the pros of hiring a virtual legal assistant. So you have a legal proficiency, you have specialized skills, you have regulatory compliance, and you have long-term value. What are the cons of hiring a virtual paralegal assistant? Well, you have higher cost, limited administrative support, and task restrictions. Now I want to go a little granular. So when we talk about the pros, when you say legal proficiency, well, virtual paralegal assistants are trained in legal procedures, research, and documentation, making them valuable assets for legal tasks. In terms of skill specialization, they excel in tasks such as legal research, document drafting, and case strategy development, contributing to a stronger legal case set. What about regulatory compliance? Well, paralegals ensure that your legal documents documents and processes comply with industry-specific regulations and standards. In terms of long-term value for ongoing or complex legal projects, virtual paralegals offer a sustained legal expertise and support. So that's really good. What about some of the drawbacks here? So basically you have higher cost. So virtual paralegal assistants may come with a higher hourly rate due to their specialized legal knowledge. In terms of limited administrative support, while they excel in legal tasks, paralegals may not be as proficient in general administrative support as virtual assistants are, okay? And also, in terms of task restrictions, we have seen actually that some jurisdictions in the same state, for instance, or in different states, have specific rules about what tasks virtual paralegals can perform, and these rules can actually vary. So you got to always make sure that you have some kind of jurisdictional blessing before you actually employ a virtual paralegal assistant in a specific case. Let's talk about timing here. When should you hire a virtual assistant, a virtual legal assistant versus a virtual paralegal assistant? Now, the decision to hire a legal assistant versus paralegal depends on the specific needs and objectives of your legal practice, right? Everything has to be analyzed in context. So let me give you a few scenarios where each role is best suited. So when should you hire a virtual legal assistant? What is the chronology? What is the timing here? Well, if you are looking for administrative support, if you have light legal tasks, if you're looking for cost efficiency, if you're after flexibility, let me break it down for you. So when should you hire a virtual legal assistant in terms of administrative support? So if your primary need is if your primary need is administrative tasks such as document management, client communication, and scheduling, a virtual legal assistant is very suitable. What about if you are looking for light legal tasks when your workload involves minor legal support tasks that do not require specialized legal expertise? You can actually you can outsource the tasks to a legal assistant, okay, a virtual legal assistant. Also, for cost efficiency, when you seek a cost-effective solution for routine administrative work that can be managed virtually, you can also think about having a virtual legal assistant. Also, in terms of flexibility, if you require, let's say, on-demand support for tasks that vary in intensity, a virtual legal assistant can provide flexibility, especially if your staff is already busy with other stuff, right? They are really busy, and the volume of transactions is really going high. Also, general practice. In a general law practice where the legal tasks are diverse and not highly specialized, you can also, sort of fall back, if you will, on a virtual legal assistant. Let's talk about areas or moments or timing when you should hire a virtual paralegal. You want to hire a virtual paralegal when legal expertise is needed for complex cases, trial preparation, long-term projects, compliance and regulations, and document analysis. Okay. Bottom line here is when you think about a virtual legal assistant, you're talking about someone who has legal acumen, at least a little bit. Not at the same level, not at that breadth and depth, the level of breadth and depth that you would have with an attorney, but at least you have somebody who has some knowledge. Okay. So when I talk about legal expertise needed, when your legal practice demands specialized legal knowledge, including legal research, document drafting, and case strategy development for complex cases. So in cases involving complex litigation, intellectual property, or let's say regulatory compliance, a virtual paralegal expertise is really invaluable, or could be invaluable. And also for trial preparation. So for trial focused practices, a virtual paralegal can assist in trial preparation, exhibit organization, and witness coordination. For a long-term project also, so when you have, let's say, when you have ongoing long-term legal projects requiring sustained legal expertise and research, you can actually find this to be very interesting also. Also, for compliance and regulations, so in industries with stringent legal regulations and compliance requirements, a virtual paralegal ensures adherence. You also can think about a virtual paralegal for document analysis. So in case involving forensic data analysis or intellectual property infringement, a virtual paralegal's expertise is really quintessential. So you have to see what really works for your specific case. Okay. So choosing between a virtual legal assistant and a virtual paralegal depends on your specific legal needs as well as the complexity of your practice, because both roles can actually be valuable assets when deployed appropriately, and this is totally fine. Let's talk about the skill set here. We're still having a conversation about virtual legal assistant versus virtual paralegal assistant. Let's talk about the skill set. Specifically, I want to talk about the education and training requirements. So I want to first talk about the virtual legal assistant. So virtual legal assistants generally require the following education and training. So you have high school diploma or equivalent, administrative training, experience in legal environment, software proficiency. That's for virtual legal assistants, okay? So high school diploma or equivalent at a minimum. Most virtual legal assistants possess a high school diploma or GED. This provides the foundational knowledge needed for administrative and organizational tasks. In terms of administrative training, many virtual legal assistants have completed administrative assistant training programs which equip them with essential skills for office management, document organization, and client communication. And they gotta have, while not always a formal requirement, experience working in a legal office or similar settings can be highly beneficial. It helps virtual legal assistants understand legal terminology and processes. And also software proficiency. So proficiency in office software such as Microsoft Office and document management systems is crucial for document preparation and organization. What about virtual paralegal assistants? Virtual paralegal assistants, on the other hand, have more extensive and specialized education and training, that's for sure. So they have a paralegal certificate or degree. They receive legal research training, advanced software proficiency, continuing education, and ethics and regulations. So when we talk about paralegal certificate or degree, a virtual paralegal assistant typically holds a paralegal certificate or an associate degree in paralegal studies. This education provides a deep understanding of legal procedures, research methods, and case management, and that's really important. And so for legal research training, virtual paralegals receive training in legal research techniques, allowing them to navigate legal databases, analyze case law, and support attorneys in building strong cases. For advanced software proficiency, paralegal assistants are well versed in legal specific software and tools, which are, when you think about it, essential for drafting legal documents, managing case files, and conducting e-discovery. And paralegals actually have a continuing education, so due to the constantly evolving legal landscape, virtual paralegal assistants often engage in ongoing education and professional development to stay current with legal trends and regulations. And what about ethics and regulations? Well, virtual paralegal assistants are trained in legal ethics and regulations to ensure compliance with professional standards. So, in closing remarks here, so when we talk about legal assistance versus paralegal, it's very important to understand that you need to have the right foundation, right? The right foundation means you have to actually ensure regulatory compliance when working with either or with virtual legal or paralegal assistants. Ensure that your virtual assistants are well versed in U.S. legal regulations and ethics. You want to regularly review and monitor their work to ensure adherence to professional standards. And so it's important to understand that a virtual legal assistant or virtual paralegal assistant who is working remotely can still adhere to client confidentiality and data security standards. It's all a matter of how you set up the work and what tools you are using. You can implement secure communication tools and cloud-based systems to provide sensitive information. And so the cost difference between hiring a virtual assistant and a virtual paralegal, basically virtual paralegals are more expensive. Okay, virtual legal assistants generally have a lower hourly rate due to their administrative focus, making them more cost effective, and virtual paralegal assistants may charge more due to their specialized legal expertise. And so this is kind of important. But one thing you want to do here is to have a clear idea of what you want. And so how do you actually decide which type of virtual assistants to hire for your law firm? Well, the decision should be based on your firm's specific needs. If you require administrative support and cost effectiveness, a virtual legal assistant may be suitable. For specialized legal tasks and expertise, a virtual paralegal assistant is the better choice, especially when it comes to having the proper amount of skills. Okay, you can always consider partner with professional virtual assistant services so that you can have less, for instance, a pool of talented virtual professionals, including legal assistants, and this ensures that you find the right fit for your law firm needs. So here's a recap here. In today's conversation, I spoke to you about virtual legal assistants versus virtual paralegal assistants. I give you the overview, the pros and cons, the timing, the skill set, and now the closing remarks. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.